welcome to math for the week of September 7th. We are focusing on geometry this week. I'm super psyched to have a whole bunch of really fun activities for you guys to do. So let's go ahead and get started with what we're going to need. We're going to need our bag of rubber bands and this is your geo board. So you have your rubber bands and your geo board. You're going to need your popsicle sticks. You can find these either in your math manipulatives bag or there's also a backup set in your sensory kit. So popsicle sticks. You're going to need a bottle of Elmer's glue. You're going to need a paper plate, the Q-tips, and a piece of construction paper. You're going to need your foam shaped stickers, which are in your sensory kit, and some printer paper and a piece of construction paper. And then finally, you're going to be needing to get out like a cookie sheet. You're going to need your skewers, your lollipop sticks, some of your modeling clay, some toothpicks, and a pair of scissors. You can also use Play-Doh if you don't find your modeling clay. This should be in your sensory kit. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and get started. We're going to work on geoboard shapes, popsicle shapes, Q-tip shapes, foam shapes, building shapes. So let's go ahead and start with the geoboard. So you're just going to start for the first 5 minutes or so, just getting acquainted with the materials, see all the different ways you can stretch the rubber bands onto the pegs, and see if they can stretch that rubber band as far as it can go all the way from the top to the bottom. So they're just going to spend 5 minutes just fiddling around with the materials, and then the first thing they're going to do is that we're going to focus on the three-sided shapes, triangles. So you can help them to start this out. You're going to have them make a large triangle like this. Have them make a large triangle like that, and then they're going to make another one going the other direction, and then we're going to start to see some other triangles show up in this thing. It's pretty cool. All right, so now we have the two big triangles, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more triangles. See if they can find all those triangles. And if you put another border on the other side, you have another kind of triangle. We have these ones here. So we're going to focus on how many different ways can they make more triangles. What if I put one in the center here? Now I have 2 more triangles. Okay, pretty good stuff. So they're going to do triangles, and then they're going to do the same thing with squares and rectangles. So you're going to start out making just a big square on the outside, like this. And then once they've done that, they've made their big square on the outside, and then they can make 4 more squares by putting some in the middle here and across this way. And then they have 1 big one and 4 other smaller ones, right? You can keep going. If you go crisscross like this, not diagonal, you can come up with so many different kinds of rectangles and squares. So I see a square again emerging here, and then how many rectangles are there? So they're going to continue with that. They're going to be challenged to make a 5-sided shape, a 6-sided shape, and then just whatever design they want to make. There's so many different ways to make some neat designs with the geoboard. So that is day 1 of the geoboards. It's super good for their hand strength and coordination. Okay, so everybody, you either have your popsicle sticks that were in your learning kit, in your math manipulatives bag, or I have a backup set in your sensory kit. Okay, so what you're going to be doing with the popsicle sticks is you're going to be just starting out doing a math activity with the sorting by color and counting how many in each pile. That's a step that they can take to warm up their math brains. And then they're going to just mix them around, and then they're going to be making some different shapes. So we're going to be making some triangles first, and you can make your first triangle can just be an equilateral triangle with 3 popsicle sticks, right? You can make one that's twice as big using the same design, but 2 popsicle sticks on each side. And then you have the same shape, only bigger. And you can do this with 3 popsicle sticks on each side. And then you see it's the same shape, only 3 times as big, okay? So they're making triangles. You can make different kinds of triangles. You can make long, skinny triangles. And you can make right triangles. So here's a long, skinny one. You can make a right triangle where it starts out as a corner like this, and then coming down from here. So they're exploring making different kinds of triangles, big ones, small ones, different kinds of triangles, and you're going to do the same thing with the the 4-sided shapes and 5-sided shapes and 6-sided shapes. And then after that, they can make their own design. So you may decide to make a house with a square and then a triangle on top. You might decide just to make a special design. Maybe putting some in a row, or making some other kind of picture with the sticks. So hopefully, and they're going to use as many of these as they can to make their creation on the table in front of them. And so that is popsicle sticks, okay? Now the Q-tip shapes, here's what we're gonna need for that. We're gonna need a paper plate, your Q-tips, your glue, and you're going to be having them make some 3-sided shapes and 4-sided shapes. And then they can make some other more multiple-sided shapes. And then what happens is, here's how it works. So you have your printer paper, and you basically, you just take the, first of all, they're gonna plan their shape. They're gonna put the popsicle sticks in the way that they want, so that I'm making an equilateral triangle there with just the three Q-tips, but you can make all different kinds. You could make, and this is going to be the triangle page. And so once they've planned their shape, what they do then is that they take their popsicle stick and they dip, you put a little blob of glue on the paper plate, and then they are going to take their Q-tip and they're just going to dab it in glue on each side and then just stick it down where they had it, like that. Okay, so they're going to do the same thing with the next one. Okay, and they're making their triangles. So you're going to do this with triangles. You can do it with 4-sided shapes. You're going to try 1 or 2, 5, and 6-sided shapes. And then once they dry, the next day what they do is they can use their pen, and they can practice tracing the shape from the inside with the Q-tip as a guide. It's kind of a neat little exercise. They can be making these triangles by using the Q-tip and pushing the pen along the Q-tip, and then they can make these neat designs in the middle. And they're going to put the number of sides on each shape with their pen too. And they should look something like that, okay? So that is what they're going to do for, with the Q-tip swabs for this. I love these Q-tips. They're really fun and easy to work with, especially when you put just a little blob of glue there, and they're ready to go. And then the last thing for them to do is take their construction paper and they're just going to make a design. They're going to use their Q-tips and they're just going to start making their design, and they can put it on there first and plan it out, or however they want to do it, or they could just start it and just keep adding to it until you've got, hopefully most of the page is full with your image of Q-tips, okay? So that is Q-tips. And then we're going to be using the foam shapes. Everybody got this in their sensory kit. So you're going to have them take it out, and you're going to be writing, helping them trace. Make a big 3 in the middle and have them trace it. And then they're going to put the 3-sided shapes on the paper in whatever design they want. So that is the green triangles. And then they have their 4-sided shapes. You have your orange squares, and then you have your trapezoids and your rhombuses. Okay, so they're going to make a design with the 4-sided ones, and the same with the 6-sided ones. Okay, so they're going to put a few of these hexagons on their paper with the 6. And then finally, they are going to make a design with their with a piece of construction paper and their stickers, and they're just going to create a design, and they're going to make a picture. And it can be all of these, it can be more of one color or the other, however they want to do it, but hopefully they can fill it up the page pretty good too. And that is a beautiful art project, okay? And then the last thing is the building the shapes, okay? So you're going to need a cookie sheet, you're going to need your lollipop sticks and your skewers and your what do you call those? The things you clean your teeth with. Toothpicks. So you're going to do those things, okay? And you're going to start by just building. You're going to build some shapes. So use the modeling clay that I put in your sensory kit. I hope that everybody got one of those. If not, you can use Play-Doh. And they're going to roll out a snake. They're going to roll out a snake, and then they're going to cut some blobs about this big. Okay, like they're going to roll them up. They roll them up till the little round things about that big. And they're going to be building some shapes. And they're going to be starting out making a triangle. Like this. And so, like that. And they can do the same thing. You can do the same thing with the lollipop sticks, and you can put them flat on the cookie sheet, and you can make a shape that way. With these toothpick ones, though, you can also make more 3-dimensional ones. So you can start with a triangle on the bottom, and then put 3 sticks in the top, and then connect them all with another little blob. So you've got a triangular prism there. You can make a cube. You make 2 squares, and then you stick the toothpicks on top, and then you put 1 square on top of that, and they can make a cube. They can also take these, let's do the lollipop ones. So the lollipops are great for this, so you can take a little bit bigger pieces for the lollipop. So they would need blobs that are about a little bigger than the so this would be better with this amount, okay? And they're making their shapes. And you might even try a 3-dimensional shape, or you can just keep it flat on the cookie sheet while they make their shapes. And then for these ones, the big ones, the skewers, they would build their shape by just having the table in front of them and seeing what kinds of shapes they can make with their skewers, right? So there's one nice big equilateral triangle. They're all the same. And you can keep going. You can make some longer, skinnier ones. And you can even use some of the popsicles, the lollipop sticks, to make your shapes. So you can make big shapes and challenging them to make 3-sided and 4-sided shapes. And if you want to continue on to 6-sided and 7-sided. Okay, so that is the building portion of our shapes. Okay, so lots of good fun. I actually have several other projects and activities that are geometry based that are going on in my sensory enrichment playlist. So you'll find those there for sensory integration activities for this week. But that is it for the academic portion of math. All right, good job everyone.